Hello viewers, welcome to the new video lecture. In this video, we are going to define other methods of signal designing. Before going to the next method, first we will go to the previous one. That is, the first one is your trial cycle method, and another one is your approximation method. Now we compare these two methods and then we will move to the next method and we will show that why we need a third method for signal design. In the first method, which is trial cycle method, we assume our like this. First of all, I will draw a diagram which give the indications of your cycle time like this one. This is your green, this portion is represent red, and some of the amount is red one and clearance. Okay, so in this figure you can clearly see that the amount of time to complete this one procedure is known as your cycle length. So we assume this cycle length and we conclude this cycle length that if this is for road A, so we directly inverse this cycle diagram for road B. But in the first case, which is your trial cycle, we doesn't consider any pedestrian behavior, any pedestrian movement over the signal. Then we move to the approximation method. We move to approximate method. In this case, we apply the cycle time for pedestrian. So we design our signal with the help of pedestrian behavior. So we suppose this is your pedestrian signal 1 for road A, and similarly here the pedestrian signal 2 for road A. We consider that the different time duration for pedestrian signal 1 is similar for pedestrian signal 2. In this case, we design this signal. If this is the movement for pedestrian, like this one, they can move in this direction. At the same time, we assume that the movement in this road will be taken. So this is the approximate method in which we are considering our pedestrian, and on the basis of pedestrian we use those time for your vehicular signal time also. Okay, but in this case there is a problem, and that is a major problem. If this one vehicle wants to take left turn, or similarly this one vehicle wants to take right turn, in this case the right turn and left turn for vehicle is not open. So this is a problem with approximate method, and this problem will be taken in the next method, which is your Webster method, in which we have provide a specific red time for a traffic signal in which only pedestrian can move. Okay, let's see the Webster method. So take an example of traffic signal. So this is a traffic signal for road B, and similarly here the traffic signal which is identical for road B. In this case, the first light is your appearance is green. So from time 0 to t second, the vehicle which are moving on road B like this, they can take left turn, but they can't take right turn. For this vehicle, they can move straight forward, and similarly they can move left turn. So you can clearly see that during the green time for road B, there is no green time for pedestrian which are moving on road A. Suppose this is road A, so the pedestrian signal for road A is considered here red, because there is a movement of left turn. You can see in this line diagram. Okay, after that we have clearance time, and after this clearance time we have red time for road B. Okay, this is the phase diagram. This is the phase diagram for road B. Okay, so don't confuse here. So in this red time we have also this red amber time. So when this traffic sign 1 will be red, suppose, let me clear this one to the red directions. Okay, so if I choose red light for road B, so what will happen? The movement, now we see the movement of vehicular traffic. So if this is red one, so traffic movement for road A will be open, and we can say that traffic sign for road A will be open and it will consider as green. So the movement in this road will like this. Again there is a left turn on, and for this way, this condition, the left turn is also okay. So in this case you can see that again from this time t1 to t2 you have a clearance time. After t2 to t3 again the movement is occur in the both the directions. First goes straight and second one is going to left. Again in that case this signal is again busy, and the pedestrian movement either on road A on road B are restricted. So in simple word we can say that from this time, which is your t3 0 to t3 time, which is your cycle time, in this cycle time there is no movement of pedestrian. Okay, so what we will do, we will provide another time, we will provide a extra time which is your red time. Okay, this is your red time, extra red time, in which the movement of traffic will be restricted. So if this is the red time, means there is no movement on B road, and this is the extra red time provided for the B phase, means there is again no movement on B road, means the pedestrian can move in this direction, as well as in this direction. So this red time, this extra red time which I provide here is the known as all red time. And at this all red time, the phase diagram for road A also shows the red time. At this red time, the pedestrian can move in any direction of this signal. So this is the basic foundation of this method, which provide a extra time, or which provide a separate time for pedestrian movement, which is not defined in the signal time, or which is not depend on the traffic signal time. So this is the key point of Webster method. Now we will go that how the Webster method is calculated, and why it is called the Webster. So in this graph you can see that the y-axis shows delays and x-axis shows your cycle length. So we already covered this portion in your last lecture, in which we are saying that if your cycle time is less, suppose your cycle time is less, means your number of cycle will be increased per hour, and if the number of cycle is increased, means every time the cycle showing the green time for vehicles, the initial delays by the vehicle will be counted, and the initial delays will be increases. So whenever the cycle time is less, if C is less, so delay will be increased due to initial starting of vehicle. Okay, and we can say that number of cycle per hour will be increased whenever the cycle length is higher. If the cycle length is higher, so the number of cycles per hour will be reduced. Okay, but if this cycle is reduced, then the waiting time on the other road will be increased, and we can simply say that if the cycle length is increased for any road, suppose this is your road A, there is a number of queue in road B. Okay, in road B, and for this number of this is long queue of vehicle uh, will also have some delays whenever they cross these intersections. Again, the delay will increase. So it can be seen by this graph which is drawn between the delay and time axis. So this graph is solved by this equation, and this equation is given by Webster. That's why it's called Webster method. Okay, in this case, Webster says that the optimum cycle length of traffic signal will be equal to 1.5 of lost time plus 5 seconds divided by 1 minus ratio of flow ratio of this y is represent the summation of y1 plus y2 plus y3, which is this y1 and y1, this y1 comma y2 are the ratio of existing flows. Suppose existing flows is q1 to the saturation flow of the particular road, or we can say the particular legs. Similarly, y2 represent q2 upon s2. So in this equation, Webster clearly mentioned the lost time. The cycle length is related to lost time as well as related to flow of the particular road section. So this equation is used by Webster. That's why we use this equation for designing our traffic signals, and we will go with the numerical and understand the basic behavior of this equation. So here is a numerical. The average normal flow of traffic on cross roads A, B during period are 400 to 50 PCU per hour. The saturation flow, which is the maximum flow according to the width of traffic lanes, the saturation flow value on these roads are estimated 1000 to 50 and 1000 PCU per hour respectively. The all red time during the required for pedestrian crossing is 12 seconds. So this is the important one. This is the all red time in which the pedestrian will move, and at this time the traffic flow will consider as stop or restricted. Design two-phase diagram. So again it is two-phase diagram. So we have only two diagram for signal indications, or you can say you have a cycle length and it will be showing by two bars like this one bar. So this must be the first one for A, second, another for B, and there is no different uh, different bar for pedestrian signal. So this is a two-phase traffic signal with pedestrian crossing by Webster method. Okay, so we have Q1 we have 400, and you can say that this is a QA 400 PCU per hour, and QB is equal to 250 PCU per hour. For similar condition, we have saturation A and saturation B. Saturation A is 1250 PCU per hour, and here it is 1000 PCU per hour. Now we find our y1 and and in this case this is YA, which is equal to like this, and YB will be equal to 250 by 1000. So whatever the answer, please note down. Next we will find our Y. So this is the YA plus YB, okay, and the value will be, so this is the value of your Y. Now apply the formula of Webster, which is optimum cycle length will be equal to 1.5 times of lost time plus 5 seconds divided by 1 minus Y. Now what is your L value? L is your lost time during signal operation. So lost time is occur due to two fundamental things. The first one is all red time. This time is allocated for pedestrian movement, and another one is your amber time, and this amber time for road A and this amber time for road B. So we can say that here there are two N, and this is your phase diagram. If I am taking this amber time is 2 seconds, okay, so this is the 2 second multiply number of phases N. Okay, the most of the cases we take our amber time is equal to 2 seconds. So but you have to know that if in the question if the amber time is changed from 2 to 3 seconds or 2 to 4 seconds, so this will be 3n and 4n like this. Okay, so don't be confused. So apply this all parameters. So all right time in the question is given as 12 seconds. So we can say that optimum cycle length of L will be equal to 2 seconds for each road. Multiply, we have two roads, so that is 2 plus all right time is 12 seconds. This time is considered as your lost time plus 5 seconds. So this value is given by the Webster, so don't need to change this one. Minus 1 minus what is the value of Y? Value of Y is 0.55. Okay, sorry, 0.57. After solving this, you will get, after solving this you will get 67.5 seconds. Okay, so this is your optimum cycle length. So I can say that this is the total length of my phase diagram. In this phase diagram I have green time, I have a clearance time which is your amber time, and similarly the red time. So the length of this phase will be 67.5 seconds. So what is the difference? Now what is the difference? We have a different green time for road A and different green time for road B, and this is the green time for road A and another is the green time for road A, and this is different. But we assume we assume that if the road A is handling more vehicles, so road A needs more green time. So in this case we can say that green time is clearly mentioned to the traffic behavior characteristics, or we can say traffic volume. So in this case the green time for road A is calculated as Y total loss. So if I apply the, basically this one is the ratio of traffic flow with the total flow obtained by or the handled by the signal. So in this case we have y1 is equal to, so here the solution for green time A is 29 seconds and green time for road B is 22.5 seconds. We apply the formula of green time like this. This is the ratio of traffic volume multiply with the optimum cycle length to the lost time. Okay, So if you add the green time of both the roads, it will give the value of 51.5 second. And in this 51.5 second, if you add your lost time, total lost time, so you will get your total optimum cycle length. Okay, so you can see that these values are related to each other. Now we draw our phase diagram, first of all for road A, and then we will again move for road B. So you can see that the phase diagram for road A is to start with the green time, which is your 29 second. After the green time, you have a clearance time, which is 2 seconds, and then you have a red time. This is the red time for traffic movement, and this red time is similar to the green time of your road B. Similarly, the green time of road A is equal to red time of road B. Okay, so we have this one figure from the section here to here. Okay, you can just see this section from here to here. After that, we add 12 seconds, which is your 12 seconds for pedestrian crossing and 2 seconds for red amber time. So this is your lost time. Okay, so what is your lost time in this case? 12 plus 2 plus 4. So this gives the value of 16. Okay, in the next phase diagram for road B, after the green time, we have a 2 second clearance time, which count on lost time, and after the lost, we have 12 seconds. So you can see that here the distance is 14 seconds, and similarly this 14 second is represented by this figure, which is for road B. So this must be equal 2 seconds, and here the red, after the red time, we have 2 seconds of red amber time. So if we add 2 plus 2 plus for 12 for road B, we have again the lost time will be 16. So you can see that in Webster method, we provide a separate zone after this line, this one. Okay, so this is the time zone for pedestrian movement. Okay, and in this case, the both signal for traffical movement must be restricted and must be shows red time. That's why we called this as a all red time. This 12 second is all red time, in which the both signal shows the red time. You can clearly see with this figure for road A as well as road B. Before this, this is the LHS sections. LHS section. This is LHS section and this is RSS section. The RSS section is all red time, in which the pedestrian can move, but in LHS section pedestrian can't move. Even there is a red time for road A or road B, because there is a red time for road B. Okay, but this is the movement for road A, which can be moved left turn also. So whenever the vehicle which is moving on road A take left turn, automatically the pedestrian movement on B must be stopped. So this is the basic reason behind this. So I hope you understand the diagram of Webster method. In our next lecture, we will move to the last method, which is IRC method, which is a combination of approximate method and Webster method, and we will solve some numerical which occur on previous GATE examination. That's from that you will clear the signal designing process. I hope you like this lecture. If any query and doubts, please ask me. Thank you. Have a nice day.